Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Area 51 Thursday Super Speedway Xfinity Series here tonight at Daytona International Speedway. We've got 75 laps on the schedule to kick off the season here in a very comfortable 70-degree Fahrenheit day. The view of the backstretch was with the planes coming through the airport. We are ready to go. Kick this season off, the second season here of 2024, and it is going to be a blast as always. Lots of fast-paced, high-banked super speedway action coming for you in just a few minutes. Our racers are qualifying right now, trying to grab that pole position for the first race of this brand new season. It's a new start for everybody, a clean slate, chances to capitalize on good seasons from last year, or perhaps turn it around and try to have a better second series than your first in 2024. But no matter what, everybody's going to be looking for that checkered flag here tonight on Green White Checkered TV. For myself, Boomer Logan, and we've got a man who needs no introduction here, Mr. Guy L. Brooks. How are you doing here tonight, buddy?
I am doing well. Excited to be able to share the booth with you here again. So impatiently waiting for our third chair, if you will, to get on or to get in the server to get on track. So we might have to dock his pay for next week. We'll see. But no, I'm doing well. So looking forward to the Xfinity cars here tonight. They had a great race on Sunday in the truck, so expecting to see very similar racing ones here tonight. And so I was a little nervous with the car count earlier, but looks like we're up to probably about 20ish or so. We're going to be hopefully taking grid. So yeah, it's gonna be fun tonight. Kick it off here at Daytona.
Absolutely. We'll probably announce it in a little bit, hopefully, as he joins. But we've got a surprise for um, pretty much everybody in the audience, and maybe even some of the drivers on track that we'll maybe get to in just a little bit here. But for now, we are back again for the second season of 2024 here on Thursdays. So a clean points reset. Obviously, we've had a decent off season here. It's been nice to have a little bit of a break, but we're getting ready, getting back to that regularly scheduled chaos or action, if you will. Obviously, rolling in the IndyCar series on Tuesday nights. We've had a couple broadcasts already over there, and the Sunday Xfinity, sorry, Sunday Super Speedway with the truck series there. They've also are getting their season underway. So a couple weeks behind here for the Super Speedway stuff, but they'll have a little bit of a break for the IndyCar stuff, and they'll have some time off, obviously, with the Memorial Day holiday coming up this weekend as well. And but pretty much all cylinders firing here on Green White Checker TV and the Area 51 League. So we've got just a few seconds left before we get to qualifying here. But Guile, what are your biggest keys here for this first race of the season tonight?
I think really it's just gonna be strategy because we've had a lot of changes over the off season. So before we'd always talk about bonus points from start to finish, and made some big changes. Where actually we're just going full. They're going full NASCAR schedule, so no bonus points anymore for laps led or highest climber, incident free. It's just where you finish is that's the points you get. So a big change for that. So now it doesn't really matter to really push to either start all the way in the back or to get the pole, other than of course that premier pit stall, and then maybe being ahead of some of the chaos. So yeah, it's I like the strategy. I'd say we'll see how the changes happen, how it works, and I do know the admins were also working on trying to be a little bit more flexible on some of the pit issues we've had with some drivers getting penalized for maybe passing on entry for a damaged car, things like that. So we'll have to see how it goes and how it plays out. But I'll say before we get to starting grid, but yeah, so I think we'll see a lot of the same though. Really good but hard racing here tonight.
Yeah, as you mentioned that grid here, we'll pull that up now. You see the American flag machine of that 88 Gabe Butler for Team Bootnocking Esport. No familiar to polls here. No bonus point, as you mentioned, this time for this season, but Gabe Butler will grab that pole in a really good, solid starting position for him tonight. Eric Laurie will be to his outside, two teammates on the front row. For Blind Squirrel Racing, we've got Carl Engel in the second row there on the inside with Rick Sanchez. It says Dina Mo Racing for the five of Rick Sanchez this season. And rounding out the top five will be our Canadian friend Dean Wilkinson for TW Motorsports here, with his outside Roswell Motorsports own Bud Steele in the number 6 machine. Lots of really cool paint schemes tonight for the Memorial Day weekend, and you'll see a few of those here as the field starts to roll out. But Les Levy is going to bring that checkered flag Motorsports number 62 to the inside of row number 4. Mike Remkes in the 79 is going to be just to his outside. Adam Kilday of Skyview Motorsports, he's going to be on the inside of row number 5. And Frank Ranger Jr. of Blind Squirrel Racing is going to round out your top 10 for tonight. Ryan Decker, also of Roswell Motorsports, will be in the number 48 on the inside of row 6 with Jeremy Osborne of Blind Squirrel Racing, rounding out this first page of the grid here. And on the second page here, got a few more names. Nick Wing and Brandon Briggs will share row number 7, the last two drivers to take qualifying time tonight. With our first electing not to qualify will be Steve Karosek in the 15th position. Patrick Groover will be to his outside in the number 54 from Pennsylvania. His brother will be just behind him, tucked on the inside row in 17th. That's Seth Groover. Jim Brooks to the outside of row number 9, and Ambrose Kniebel of the 04 Blind Squirrel Racing will round out the field for tonight. And I am very excited for this one. It's been a few weeks. Gonna try and shake off some of this rust maybe and bring back the action here on Green White Checker TV, and we're just about ready to get started, Gael.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, and yeah, say some new paint schemes. Obviously, a couple one-offs here tonight, like you mentioned with Gabe Butler. Definitely big shout out to Bud Steele. Made us suggestions like, hey, why don't we work on maybe get some guys to get some of those Memorial Day special paint schemes? So you saw some really good ones, like you said, the 88, the 5, the 6 car. I think there's a couple others hiding in there, but before we get to that, we're about to get going here.
Yes, we are. They roll through the Geico restart zone. The 88 of Gabe Butler up through the gearbox there. Green flag is in the air at Daytona, the first of 75 laps here tonight as they speed off into turn number 1, this 19-car field. A little bit of an advantage to the 071 on the outside, but the 88 with a good push from the 30 leading into turn number 1. Again, for the first lap of 2024 Season 2 action here on Thursday night.
Yeah, so far nothing crazy. Everybody's still pretty much all locked on here 2 by 2. As I'm also kind of be spying on the drivers, listening to what they've got to say for strategies, maybe pit stop times and all that. But right now, yeah, these guys just building up speed and pretty much running 100 and probably at this point 180 mile an hour pace laps, if you will. I did hear the 54 of Patrick Gruber say, "Hey, I'm going to drop to the back here," because I saw his car have a little bit of some connectivity issues, and so right off the bat, he's being real generous, saying, "You know what? Let me get back there, make sure I don't affect anybody else." So again, just already the sportsmanship we see right off the kick.
Yeah, definitely getting it going here early on. They are side by side throughout the entire pack here. Lap number 2 underway. Couple
And
cars.
a few new paint schemes tonight too. I'd say so. Unfortunately, though, the one we were looking for isn't here this evening. Gonna have to find out what's going on there. But I say I joke about my dad's car being real shiny, but Dean Wilkinson, he's gonna one up me on that one because that is a very chrome number 55 green light checkered TV machine. So big thank you to Dean for rocking that one here for us tonight. I say it's a good looking scheme, and like I said, that one will be easy to find on track.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of green, a lot of chrome in there, and really love seeing the Green White Checker TV logos on that number 55. So thank you to him. He's got a little TW Motorsports sponsorship on there as well for his team, and that's a really cool scheme that we see here. A lot of cool ones for sure. Obviously, you see the American flag for Gabe Butler again for Memorial Day weekend, and want to definitely shout out this one here. This beautiful paint scheme in that number 6 for Bud Steele running the Mission 22 scheme. Obviously, they've got a great cause there where the statistics say that 22 veterans lose their lives every day from PTSD here on American soil, and they've got a really cool cause to try and combat that with all of their great programs, and really love the fact that he had a chance to highlight that with, honestly, what is a really beautiful paint scheme here tonight ahead of the Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, no, it's a really good one. Saying, yeah, I definitely have a lot of friends who've been supporting Mission 22, and I've seen them do races and put their sponsor on the cars as well for awareness. Ooh, 3 weather for a second. See a couple drop into the apron here. There, so we'll wait a second, let everybody get it organized. Looks like we're back good. But yeah, that was close there for a second. And so I say one of them I say we both obviously know of is Jonathan Cadell, and I'll say he's every year he's been doing it since 2018, and he at this point he's been able to raise over $9,000 towards the Mission 22. So yeah, it's really cool to see what he does for that fundraiser, and definitely looking forward to see what he's able to do this year, and also looking forward to being a part of that for him as well. So yeah, it's really cool to see kind of people that are, again, 'cause it's more than themselves, they want to kind of give back. So really love to see it, and I say it's a tough it's you kind of it's a tough holiday to when you remember exactly what it's here for.
Yeah, absolutely, and definitely, active veterans obviously appreciate them, or those that are around still and have served. We appreciate them, but obviously even they understand, and they try to remind us that this is for the fallen this weekend, and a lot of really cool. At least in cool paint scheme for the six to honor that a little bit here, and like you said, with all the work that Cadell does there and all that fundraising. But while we've been talking about a really great cause, we've had a little bit of a lead change here. The 5 is going to jump ahead of the 88. That's Rick Sanchez. Had a really great shot at the championship last season, and due to bonus points, just barely missed the championship as Gabe Butler grabbed yet another one here at Area 51, and definitely good to see Rick with a very strong start in that United States Air Force number 5 machine. Changed it up a little bit, but he's back in a Chevrolet again this season. And really cool to see him leading some laps here early on at Daytona.
Yeah, and I was saying, yeah, I was like, Rick's gonna be one that's they're gonna be very pleased about the lack of bonus points. I maybe on this one, just again the way things shook out for him. But again, definitely not to minimize what he was able to accomplish that season. I mean, he was a monster from all season long. So, yeah, I look for him to really challenge once again this season. Also, gotta give a shout out and a good evening to a Caitlin Decker, who's again one of our sponsors now this season. I'll say we'll be showing that off here at some point here during the evening. And then Mr. Jack Walls will say when he's not racing the Yellow Pennzoil car, he's traveling, it seems like, and looks like tonight is from Southern Maryland. So Jack, hope you are doing well. And yeah, say good to see you. Wish you're on track, but hope all is going well for you.
Yeah, and why don't, well, we got a minute here, we'll bring up one of our new sponsors that you mentioned there. Thanks to Caitlin Decker. Sensi is on board with us this year, and we'll do our first side-by-side here for the 2024 Season 2.
At Sensi, we love fragrance, how it makes us feel, how it connects us to our deepest memories, how sharing those memories connects us with each other.
And as it turns out, there's a lot of people who feel the same way and share Sensi's core values of simplicity, authenticity, and generosity. Our beautiful campus in Meridian, Idaho welcomes employees, consultants, and the community year-round.
That's why we've grown from selling just warmers and wax to selling a complete line of products, so you can fill your life with fragrance no matter where your day takes you.
Whether it's fun partnerships with beloved brands, innovative, high-performing cleaning products, laundry care that smells as good as it works, or personal care products to create your signature scent, Sensi products are made to share.
Maybe that's why our culture has always felt like family. We call it Sensi Spirit. It's a feeling of love, acceptance, generosity, and community that we share freely with everyone we meet. And we welcome you to experience it yourself. Like it? Buy the product. Love it? Host a get-together with your friends. Want more? Start your own Sensi business. You can earn amazing trips around the world and rewards. You can work your business whenever and wherever you want, giving you more time for the things and people that matter most. Ask your Sensi consultant for more info.
Getting excited to have Sensi on board with us this season. They're going to be bringing the side-by-side action for the camera views and the brakes pretty much all season long here, and got a couple other changes. You see the camera or the logos in the lower right-hand corner. We still have all the support from 4draceware.com, but we've got Whiplash Sim Cams on board with us now, and you can see all of the new fancy cameras that I will manage to screw up at some point throughout the season. They are new and shiny and fun to play with, and they are numerous. So we are gonna
Yes.
have some fun, have some fun with it for a little bit. So we'll kind of get fine-tuned to play around with some of those new cameras. So appreciate the patience, but looking forward to those all these new partnerships here, and obviously the continued partnership for 40raceware.com and into the 2024 season 2 here.
Yeah, no, and that's what's really cool is being able to bring on some new love. Like I said, I've known Andrew for a while in some various leagues. We used to race together, and then found out about him recently through what he's been doing with the sim cameras, and I loved it. I was like, yeah, man, let's talk, and able to support him, and looking forward to seeing. Like you said, there's a lot of buttons for us to press, so it's so he's given us all the options and then some. So yeah, it'll be fun to show those off as well. So definitely want to thank Andrew with Whiplash Sim Cams as well. And yeah, it's gonna be fun to see. And like you said, also of course, like with Sensi, in future commercials, you see that little QR code. You can put your phone up to it, and it should pop up Caitlin's page, so you can help support her and the business. And say Mother's Day just passed, but I'll say that probably would have been a pretty good Mother's Day present. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge for future ones.
Yeah, absolutely. They're definitely, and who knows? Maybe some of that sponsorship, if you buy from Caitlin's page, will go back into supporting the number 48 on track. That's Ryan Decker there, supporting the Sensi scheme here tonight, and I assume will also be pretty much all season long. But a new scheme there in that 48 machine. Trying to see what he can do. Currently running in the 12th position, just kind of hanging out behind the 2-wide action, waiting for any chaos to ensue up there. We only got 4 cars up in the front of the pack here that are 2x2, an 8-pack, if you will, and pretty much everybody there, unless Le'Veon back is single file action, is we're probably getting a little closer to those first green flag pit stops. Probably got about 6 to 7 laps or so before those start coming, but start thinking about it early. Obviously, you got most of the field starting out single file, getting ready for that, and I'm assuming some of these guys in the outside lane are going to start making their way, find a hole into the inside, and or try to make their way to the front. You see the 88 with the push right now from teammate 071. Not enough steam to get past the 5 at the moment, who controls this race at the bottom of the track, but 88 will be cleared, but not enough to clear his teammate 2 down the back straight away, and 2x2 into turn 3 they go.
Yes, I also see in the mix here a couple of the blind squirrels in that pack right there. You see the 30 Carl Lingle, and then just to his outside a little bit further back, the 41 Jeremy Osborne. So a lot of times you'll see them cruise a little further in the back, but I think same thing. I think they've been getting more and more comfortable over the course of last season. I think we've seen that build up even to this season now. And I want to say not too far behind. Yeah, also the 17 there, Frank Ranger Jr., so he's in that mix as well. And also good to see the 27 Steve Karosek back. He's been kind of more part-time, but hopefully he's here on the full-time side of things. To say he's a very, very talented racer that as soon as he hears me talking, he's going to jump to that third lane because he's going to make things be exciting. So, but yeah, so no, it's good to see a lot of these guys back here. And as I say that, really close there between the 41 and the 27. But yeah, right now these guys, I think, like I said, they're biding their time. They know the pit stop window's probably pretty soon here. I think, again, probably low 20s or so. I would suspect we'll likely see. It should be a 3 pit stop race, and so I think what we're seeing right now is a lot of these guys just biding their time because we've seen time and time again entry exit a pit road under green flag seems to be pretty much the key to winning these races.
Yeah, and look at that pass of the 27 just made around the outside, around the 41. A great head of steam. Now he's third in line on the outside. The 88 of Gabe Butler is going to drop down to the bottom here as they start to get ready for pit stops, like you mentioned there, Gael. But yeah, good to see Steve back and having a decent run so far. Obviously, we're only 16 laps into this one, and we've got quite a ways to go here around this 2.5 mile, very historic world center of racing here tonight at Daytona, as the sun is starting to set, and might get a chance to get into a little bit of nighttime here for this first race of the season. A couple laps before we get to those green flag pit stops, and looking forward to see how that strategy plays out here tonight.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I wouldn't say it's an if, but when Mama Groover pops in here at some point, unfortunately going to have a little bit of disappointment. So it looks like Patrick's had some connectivity issues, and it looks like he's actually dropped out of the server. So right now leaves us 18 cars on track now. And so unfortunately, Seth losing one of his best drafting buddies, because those two, like I said, I mean, they may be twins, but I mean, the way they drive, it's as if they're pretty much driving the same car the way they are with each other. So they're probably two of the strongest duos I feel like we have in this league. We've got some really good teams, but I think as a duo, those two are up top there with most of them. And I've been spying on the Discords a little bit, Boomer, as I have been able to verify that I have seen Steve Krosik's actually in the Bootnarker Discord with Gabe and Eric. So expect to see the 88, 071, and 27 working together here this evening. Blind Squirrel, though, I mean, we can see on the cars that Squirrel's gotten pretty jacked up, and so has the team, because they've got 5 drivers strong in their Discord. So, say if you go just numbers, they definitely have the advantage right now. TW with 2 drivers, Roswell with 3. Then you've got Adam Kildare with 10 together as well. So, a lot of potential to kind of find those people to work with, and of course we talk about strength in numbers. So, but now you can see everybody starting to shuffle down towards the bottom here, about to start lap 19. I think that means usually telltale about a lap or two. I expect to see pit road get busy here.
Yeah, getting close to those that window there, as you see the 62 and the 32 working on the high side, trying to move forward right now. Who knows, maybe they are going to try and stay out a little bit longer. We'll have to wait and see here. But first 2 cars in the outside lane, as Gabe Butler leads us from the inside lane there, the 88, followed by the 5 and the 30.
Yeah, I think we're seeing that strategy, Boomer. I think those guys that have been saving, they know the leaders are going to be pitting real soon. This is kind of usually the approach I take. And then once I know pit stops are about to happen, then you start to make that big charge to go the 1 extra lap, but then also to pit towards the front. Because again, even though you're all in the same pack, though, I mean, you can see on the timing, the scoring there, if you pit, let's say where Nick Wing is right now, you're over a second behind. So any little mistake, that 1 second, that could drop you to, let's say, 1.5 to 2 seconds, you may be out of the draft. So that's why you see these guys get so aggressive towards the end to try to get back to the front of these pit stop cycles. And that's the approach I like to take as well, just because you want to have a little bit of leeway in case things don't go exactly picture perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see the 62, 32, the 81, and the 48 kind of employment strategy kind of showing their hand a little bit, that they're going to go longer than everybody else, but pretty much everyone else is pretty settled in, getting ready to make those first pit stops. Not this time by, though, as the 62 is going to get down in front of the 88. He's going to lead a lap here, and the 32 is going to take the lead on the outside lane. Lap number 21 we're working on now, as we should be seeing cars coming in momentarily for that first green flag pit stop. Definitely need to brush off the rust and make sure you're ready to go, because it is a long way down pit road. Do not speed. Do not block your brakes up getting into your pit box, or even getting in and out of pit road. And obviously we've seen so many of these drivers do it so well. And we'll have to wait and see who does it the fastest here and who makes it back out in front. But like you said, Guile, yeah, that track position makes a huge difference, because you can see there's a second there pretty much between from Les Levy all the way back to Dean Wilkinson. There's almost 2 seconds now, and you can see how much space that really is on track, and how much that really makes a difference, especially when you come down pit road. And that losing the draft is probably the worst thing that could possibly happen to you, other than obviously getting in a wreck. And yeah, if it goes green, you cannot afford to lose the draft at all. Your night will be done completely.
Yeah, and this is also where these drivers will need to start thinking about as well. Have they practiced the pit entry? I heard the 81 chime up saying he can go 1 more lap. Nobody's called out that they're gonna be pitting yet, so it makes me wonder if anybody's coming in this time or not. And yep, here comes a handful of drivers, a big chunk actually coming on.
Here they come. Gabe Butler, first one down to speed. A little bit of a lockup here. As you see, most of the field, over half the field coming down this time by Gabe Butler, Rick Sanchez, Carl Lingle lead them in. Adam Kilday, Eric Laurie are in as well. They are going to get down to their pit boxes and get 4 tires and fuel in these Xfinity Series stock cars, as we jump back to our leader now, Seth Groover. Brandon Briggs, Les Levy, Bud Steele in this pack here are going to stretch it 1 more lap. Not going to be able to stretch it on 2 pit stops. Unfortunately, with the lap count here, unless an absolute miracle happens, but probably going to see these guys coming. Yep, pretty much the rest of the field here coming this time led by the 32 of Seth Groover. Brandon Briggs actually gets around him on the outside, and he's going to lock it up and spin it. And oh, he makes contact with the 32. Thankfully, nobody loops it, but there's potential to have to use a fast repair for the 32 and the 81 there with that contact getting on pit road.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's, a little bit of side damage to 32, but I think he's going to limp that along. I don't think he wants to burn that yet. And yeah, so far, let's say everybody's still a clean entry and exit, no penalties from either side. So great job by these guys. Now, like I said, just can they all get out in organization? And for the most part, it's looking pretty good. The one I don't see, though, is Les Levy. And that looks like, unfortunately, a miscue. I think 4 tires for the 62 car. That's going to really hurt the 62 because you already see Gabe and company going on by.
Yep.
So now the question is, can these other guys get up to speed before that train being led by Gabe Butler gets around them?
So we'll hold on to the cameras with the 32 here as you see them coming with a head of steam down the backstretch. Seth Groover and Bud Steele, not enough of a connection. Oh, and there's potentially an issue for Jim Brooks there.
Oh, yeah, that car's not going anywhere.
Saw a puff of smoke and not sure what happened there, but potential money shift maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a money shift. Yeah,
oh, man. I saw the puff of smoke and wasn't sure, but you hate to see that.
Yeah, I think that's a 3-4 shift turned into a 3-2 shift, unfortunately. So those cars don't rev that high, and so unfortunately had to take a tow. Now is going to have to wait for that too. So that's a tough one, and again, that's just how hard you have to push these things to do stuff. And right now, though, I'm looking at the timing and scoring, and these guys are starting to get pretty spread out. I think 2 of the cars, Seth and Bud, I think they're going to be okay. Maybe Ryan Decker, but that's the next group being led by Mike Rimkus. They're going to have to really hustle to try to get back up there.
Yeah, so you see Gabe Butler came out with the lead there. He's going to be ahead of Adam Kilday and Steve Krosek, Carl Engel, Eric Laurie, and the 5 of Rick Sanchez. This group pitting in the first group of drivers. Then Seth Groover and Bud Steele have caught them as well. These were the leaders of our second pack. And then Ryan Decker here, he's about 0.6 of a second and
he should be okay.
Yep, he will be okay. So that will bring us back to 10th place. So that's Mike Rimkus in that 79. He's got Jeremy Osborne and Brandon Briggs as well as Dean Wilkinson and Nick Wing in this group here. You see about 4.5 seconds off the tail of Ryan Decker, about 5.7 seconds off the tail of our leader there. And that is a pack of 5. Further on back, Les Levy there, the miscommunication. Everybody in the field took fuel only or right side tires only based on the pit stop time. He is the only driver to take 4 tires, and unfortunately that 4 extra seconds really hurt him, or really based on the times it's closer to 6 extra seconds, and you can see that in the difference he has to everybody ahead of them. So very unfortunate for him. We do also see Ambrose Kniebel and Frank Ranger Jr. it looks like here in this pack in the 04 and the 017, both of Blind Squirrel Racing there. They are a few seconds back. They're going to pick up Les Levy in just a minute here, as they are faster, 2 cars faster than 1, but they are currently about 19 seconds off of the lead of Gabe Butler.
Yeah, and I'd say the other problem too is I was watching that group of Mike Rimkus and company. They've got it reorganized now, but there was a point where they were kind of running double file, indecision of who should lead and who should push, and they weren't really talking much about it, but you could just see everybody was kind of jumping around a little bit. It looks like now, now they're switching up again. Looks like the 41 said, you know what, I either maybe getting hot or just wasn't pushing as effectively as he was hoping for. And so now he's jumping to the top, and you see Jim Brooks, he's just left pit road after having to take that tow, but he is trapped, 3 down now. He's the only car a lap down, but that's going to be a hard hill to climb, though.
Yeah, definitely. You see there this group getting a little more organized. Mike Rimkus still leading Dean Wilkinson there. You saw just a moment ago, a couple laps ago, they were side by side, and that's definitely not going to bode well for them. So it's good to see that they are organized and trying to get back up to our leaders here. We'll keep an eye on that gap, as right now Rimkus is 5.87 seconds and actually gaining at the moment on our leaders. So it's really going to be up to Dean Wilkinson, who is definitely a veteran of this league, knows how to push and give good bump drafting. So hopefully their abilities should allow them to get back up to this lead pack, but we'll have to wait and see. Definitely going to have to go be as ambitious as they possibly can to try and get back up to this lead pack before the next pit cycle, which is, we're starting to think about it here. I mean, obviously it's been about only 7 laps since pretty much everybody in the field has pit, but you got to start thinking about that already, as you're probably about a third of the way into this next fuel run here. And these, even though it is a 2.5 mile oval, obviously these guys are traveling at speeds at well over 190 miles an hour. And when it's green flag action, these laps click off so quickly here, Gael.
Yeah, I'm just listening. I was about to chime in with the fact that you could see the gaps between like Adam Kilday and Gabe Butler. That he wasn't really latched onto him, just kind of playing it safe, giving a little bit of a couple, maybe half a car length or so. And then I heard one of the drivers in this front pack saying, "Hey, that second pack's starting to catch us pretty quickly." And I was looking at lap times, and sure enough, leaders ran a 47.28, second pack of 46.75, so half a second quicker. And so you see now the 85's tucked much tighter onto the 88. So message received there. They said, you know what? Let's keep this 9-car breakaway. We don't want to bring another 6 cars in this and have it be from first to 14th. So
yeah, there you see it there. A 47 flat for Gabe Butler, a 47.08 for Mike Rimkus. So a tenth of a second or so gained by our lead pack, and definitely a little more organized there, Gael.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of mistake in the second pack there. I think try to maybe push a little too hard, maybe got a little bit unsettled. And so that's unfortunately going to cost them a bunch of time on that one. But again, looks like everybody's pointing in the right direction. They'll regroup and get back after it. And that's the risk of these situations is it's like, okay, everybody's split up. It's just going to be kind of a single file race the rest of the way. The thing is, though, a lot of times this is when a second pack or even a third pack or so on, they just start to push that extra bit to try to just get everything they can back. And unfortunately, that's when mistakes usually will occur. So, yeah, unfortunately, that last lap with that hiccup, they dropped about a second just from that one little mistake. And that just shows how kind of picture perfect you got to be.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when you're trying to get back up to the pack. And you see there about a second difference there in that last lap time. So Gabe Butler still definitely getting some good pushes from the 85 of Adam Kilday here as they are working on lap number 32, coming to 33 as they cross the stripe that time by. So definitely.
And so, yeah, based on the numbers, it'd be 44 would be the window. So, I mean, we're only 12 laps away if we continue that 22, then 44 window. So, yeah, so already just about halfway through the second fuel run. It will be a 3-stop race. And it won't be a huge window for that second set. So it's going to be fun to see kind of when this all, do we see anybody blink early and try maybe shake up the pack? But I think, like I said, with them breaking it down, I think everybody's going to run it basically as far as they can. And then I think we'll see potential strategy calls in that final stop.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what you can do there. I mean, there's so many laps to kind of split it up. I mean, you've got you probably are going to have to go about 26-ish laps or so at the end here, and definitely because you're going to have to pit at least once in that. You can run 5 laps at the beginning or 5 laps at the end, and literally every other possibility of combinations of lap counts between the first and the second stint there in that final bit. But you're definitely going to have to make that third pit stop. When do you think you're going to do it here, Gael? Are you going to try and stretch that fuel as far as you can, or are you going to try and pit as soon as the window opens? What is your strategy?
I think my strategy, unfortunately, in this situation is you got to do what the guys in front of you do. There was a race, I think it was actually on Sunday's race in the trucks, where there was a driver who was ahead of the boot knockers. He jumped out of line, went ahead and got to behind them, and then tucked back in line. That way he could pit exactly when they did, because he said, like, I don't want to get caught pitting a lap later than them. I want to come in when they come in. So I think at this point, with the way the numbers are, I think that's probably your best bet. I'm, again, looking at kind of the teamwork. And so right now I see 3 of the drivers in boot knocker all together there, the 88, 27, 071. You got 2 of the Roswell guys there. The 6 and the 48 are together. Rick in the 5 has been working with, or at least in Discord, I see him with the 85. So kind of the 2 odd out right now, unfortunately, are Carl Lingle, Seth Groover. So I think same thing. They probably just got to react to what everybody else does. And I think at this point, with the small enough pack like we have, I don't think, unfortunately, it's worth taking that gamble of trying to do a strategy call on a short pit or anything like that. You just make sure you actually have a scenario where you've got the settings that you want. Like in my mind, at a track like this, if you can have that shorter stop and maybe like we saw earlier with the sub 10-second pit stop, to me that means probably left side tires, if not fuel only. Because as crazy as it sounds, the crew having to jump from the right side back to the wall before you can leave, it slows you down a second or so. Oh, Dean Wilkinson popped the motor.
Oh, Dean Wilkinson, too hot. He's going to blow up there.
Pushed too hard.
Yep, pushing too hard, trying to get back up there. I mean, he was doing a really, really good job. And unfortunately there, that's going to be an expired motor for the second Ford Mustang here tonight, just from pushing too hard for both instances for the 51 and now the 55. But yeah, as you mentioned there, Guile, it's definitely going to be interesting to see. I mean, we'll be doing some better math here. So you'll be pitting last, or you'll be being able to pit somewhere around lap 66 if you stretch it out to 22 laps times 3 stints. So obviously that gives you about 9 laps to play with there, or that window again opening up, somewhere around, let's say, lap 50, 54, 55-ish. So it's really about those 10 laps that you really have an opportunity to play with there. I mean, I would definitely be trying to stay out as late as possible. You never know what's going to happen on the track, and sometimes, if you pit early, you can go a lap down to the leaders, and if you are on track, you can actually potentially, if you're in the lead pack and you don't pit, you can actually potentially trap some of your competitors a lap down, depending on how Chaos falls and where the timing and scoring is at. But and then the later you go too, you also get to put the least amount of fuel in the car to finish the race. But obviously, Caitlin Decker chimed in and says you got to keep in mind those green-white checkered attempts. Obviously, our namesake here at Green-White Checkered TV. Love a good green flag finish, but also love a good green-white checkered finish as well. And you never know what can happen. I mean, we've seen cautions fly at the very end of the race after being green flag pretty much the whole way through. Sometimes they fall on lap 1, sometimes they fall on lap 74 of 75, and it's just the way it goes sometimes, and you always have to keep that in mind and be prepared, and try not to maybe put all your eggs in one basket, and see how it goes, and try to be on top of the strategy if you can.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think in this situation, unless somebody else short pits, you go as far as you can, because like I said, especially if you're further in this pack, you're saving a lot. Like if you're Bud Steele right now, you're probably saving a ton of, well, not a ton of fuel, but you're saving more fuel than Gabe Butler is, for instance. And so, like you said, that's going to shorten this pit stop. And in the next cycle, if you can stay in this main pack, it could shorten that pit stop too, and that just gets you, again, more opportunity to stay up in that pack. However, I'll say Caitlin, a seasoned pro here with this league, with watching and I'm sure coaching Ryan and being his crew chief and spotter and such, she mentioned you need to keep green-white checkered attempts in mind. And so, and I mean, you commented on it too. But then there's that risk versus reward. It's like, you know what? Right now we've got a 9-car breakaway. Maybe I do work with some drivers to say, you know what, let's just put enough in to make it to the end. If we get a green-white checkered, all right, fine, we'll top off at that point and just see what happens. But maybe if we decide to, you know what, let's cut a couple seconds off our stop, just fill it just enough to get to the end. I mean, maybe that could be a race-winning move. But again, it just depends on the numbers and how well you get in and out of pit road and everything. So there's definitely some strategies you can pull here, but right now with the situation they've got, I think this is what they should be doing, is just kind of playing it safe and waiting to make stuff happen. So and I'm poking around. I just saw, did Ambrose actually hit? Oh, okay, yeah, he didn't hit, but I think he just got a little low on the exit. Because after we mentioned the 55 blowing his motor, he chimed up in the race chat voice saying that he was getting hot. So yeah, so these guys, they're pushing hard. But again, they got to keep those temps under check.
Yeah, and that's something that we've talked about. Oh man, I don't even know. It was I think it was the first season build of 2024 here. Actually, probably about 3 months ago now, where there was a big change to the Xfinity cars in general. Overall, not just at super speedways, but the cars that you see here, the Camaros, the Supras, and the Mustangs, a big change, and definitely some differences in some of those temperatures and overheating. It is a lot easier to overheat these cars, especially when you get tucked in. I mean, you see obviously that 85 there. He is pretty tight on the 88s over there. Obviously, he's going to give him a good shove here in the short shoot as they pass into the tri-oval now. You can absolutely, if you're within a half a car length of the car in front of you, and if you stick there and you don't stick your nose out every once in a while for some clean air, you absolutely can get hot within a couple laps. So you can see where 85 is kind of trying to manage that as best as he can, give him pushes when he needs to. He's also trying to save a little bit of fuel, probably, compared to the leader there of Gabe Butler, where Gabe is more than likely going to be full throttle the whole way around the speedway. But you see the 85 peeking a little nose there, getting some clean air into the grill of that Chevrolet Camaro, and trying to avoid what we saw happen to the 55, unfortunately.
Yeah, so this time by we're going to be approaching lap 44. So this is right here. This was basically exactly when these guys pitted last time, coming to this lap here. So I will see if anybody calls in. I say there are tracks where the admins do request and I say even require that you call in your pit roads. Daytona Talladega aren't those two tracks. Atlanta and iRacing Super Speedway, they do request that you call your pit entries. So here you can be a little bit more sneaky, although I just see Seth Groover, he's calling in that he's going to be pitting, Mike Rimkus as well. So Les Levy as well. So drivers are keying up here. So expect to see a very busy pit road. I think we will see all 9 of these lead lap drivers hit pit road this time.
Yeah, and I think if you know that the rest of this pack is pitting, like, it makes absolute sense for you to stay with these guys. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's going to make a lot of sense to have a split strategy from these 9 here, and we'll see the only one that stays out is Bud Steele, as he's going to continue on the speedway there. Is a little bit sideways for, it looks like, the 32 of Seth Groover there. Other than that, yeah, Bud Steele left alone on the track. He is going to be our leader, but he's going to lose a lot of time, unfortunately, being the only one that did not come down pit road. And we've got a couple more. Mike Rimkus and Jeremy Osborne from that second group are going to make their way down pit road here. And you see the right side's going up for Gabe Butler, and the left side's not going up, so it will just be right sides and fuel for most of these drivers here. As right sides for Gabe Butler, fuel only for most of the rest of the field, but it is a lonely island that the number 6 Mission 22 or Ford Mustang of Bud Steele is going to be coming down pit road this time by. Pretty much the only one that did not pit there, and you see Ryan Decker there. He was the one who actually had some issues getting onto pit road. He missed the entry to pit lane, and unfortunately he is going to get a 40-second stop and hold, and definitely going to be very difficult for him to capitalize on that tonight. So Bud Steele is in, Nick Wing is in. He was the last of that second group, so he's the one who didn't pit from that second group. And everybody else looks like actually Les Levy is going to inherit the lead, as he is going to pit this time by. So Les Levy, Frank Granger Jr., and Ambrose Knievel, the last few coming on to pit road. As we will see, looks like Seth Groover and Adam Kilday are going to be ahead of the pack at the moment. And so they're going to pass Bud Steele there. And they'll pass Brandon Briggs, who has yet to pit but is left alone on an island by himself. So Seth Groover there jumping up to the front of the pack. He's got Adam Kilday and Gabe Butler in tow. Carl Lingle is there too. Steve Karosek. Looks like Eric Laurie is about 0.7 of a second back. And it's pretty steady, so there should be enough draft for him to catch up. It is now shrinking. Rick Sanchez about 0.6 of a second. He'll have enough space to get up.
Trouble on the backstretch. Yeah, the thing was the 30 of Carl Lingle had a moment.
Nope, Nick Wing.
Oh, Nick Wing. You're right. Nick Wing. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh yeah.
We stay green, but we'll
caution
see.
Just come out.
Yellow flag is on the speedway. Ooh, there's another action. Some more action.
Oh, the 79 car.
Yep, Mike Rimkus there.
Oh yeah, that car. When you go back and look at it, that car just was not tracking after that contact. Yeah, the 20
heavy
came
front
up
end
a little
damage.
bit.
You can see the toe is all sorts of knocked out. and it looks like he's going to hit the wall a couple times here, and yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that thing's not going to drive.
All right.
He's just pinned against the wall there.
So let's see if we can take it back to where this actually happened. So we see the 28 getting a little loose, it looks like, on pit road exit here. And we'll see as he drifts up a little bit here, but he's going to get onto the speedway. And then, oh, the 79 ducks down to get some clean air from behind the 041, and they make huge contact. So the 28 is going to get hit from behind from Mike Rimkus, and you see the 28, that long slide, helpless, nowhere to go, finally hits the inside wall and just absolutely destroys that 28 machine. And we'll go back and see the rest of it for Mike Rimkus here, as we'll see from his Mike's vantage point here. So you see he's got he's behind the 41 of Jeremy Osborne, just pushing here. And we'll see if we can get on the front view here. So he just doesn't see the 28 of Nick Wing here, and you'll see in a moment here he'll jump down just to try and get a clean bit of fresh air, and he already tries to turn back up, and it is just unfortunately too late. That 79 is going to make heavy contact here, and we'll see when he finally crashes, or at least according to OBS, he crashed again. I'm assuming this incident here was enough to actually trigger the yellow flag, but yeah, definitely a lot of contact there for both those drivers.
Yep, and saying Kalen on the spot, saying just called out that Ryan Decker is gonna be lucky dog, and sure enough, he is. He just waved around to get back onto the lead lap. So, like I said, now everybody's hitting pit road for service, and curious to see if we see any strategy nope, actually I was gonna say by Jim Brooks, but no, he stays on pit road, or he comes on pit road as well to get service to his 51. So I think, Boomer, that's gonna give us all or 16 back on the lead lap. I think that leaves now the 17th, 18th trapped a lap or more down. So yeah, so we'll get everybody now all back together after that pit stop cycle spaced everybody out.
Yeah, and we just saw the tail end of the caution, or the pit cycle there during the caution. Gabe Butler, Steve Krosak, Carl Lingler are going to come back out, and I think that'll give us a moment to take a quick commercial break here. As mentioned, we will get the lucky dog, or give the lucky dog to the 48. And as Gal already mentioned, should be 16 cars now on the lead lap. As a couple cars, Dean Wilkinson, Brandon Briggs, Ryan Decker coming out of pits here. And Gabe Butler will resume the lead. Steve Krosak, Carl Engel, Eric Laurie, Jeremy Osborne. A little bit of strategy here. These guys taking just fuel. Les Levy taking 4 tires and fuel. And pretty much everybody else here just taking a little bit of fuel throughout the rest of the field. As you see, everyone's going to get caught up. But the lights are off on the pace car here. and we are on lap 50. Now this kind of opens it up a little bit more. If we were going to have our natural green flag progression, most of the teams would probably pit at about lap 66. And again, that window opening around 54, so given about 10-ish, 12-ish laps or so to play with strategy. Now you've got 25 laps, and you know that you have to pit, or you can go about 22 on fuel. I don't think anybody's going to make it all the way to the end here, but now this really opens a strategy where you could come in 5 laps and you can pit and be good to the end, or you can make it to about 5 to go. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out, Gael.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. Like I said, I feel like with the setup that we've got with the field and how spread out everybody is, it's gonna be tough to make that decision. So I'm gonna be curious to see.
Pace car will duck onto pit road, and we are back underway. Up to the gearbox we go through the Geico restart zone. The 88 is going to lead us back to the green flag, as he did in the initial start. And why don't we do a little bit of crank it up with these beautiful new Whiplash sim cams we have here, Gael? See, the 30 of Carl Lingle has taken the lead. He is Jeremy Osborne in the 41. Les Levy is up there in the mix, as well as Eric Fleur and Amherst Kimball. The 88 of Gabe Butler ducking low and back to the back of the pack here, trying to stay out of some of the chaos. Jeremy back there as well. So it'll be the 30 and the 41 at the front of this field for now. The 62, the 071. Most of the field in the inside lane. A couple drivers trying to tackle the outside lane. The 62 is going to jump up and join, and the 48 is going to jump down. Who can make that second lane work, as a few are trying to make their way up to the front of the pack in that outside lane.
Yeah, I mean, look at the blind squirrels, though. They started to pack up the top 5 right now. Like you said, you got the 30 and the 41 right there. The 04 is not too far back. And then the 17, Frank Granger Jr., he is right there as well. So they've decided to push a little forward. I don't think anybody can make this to the end from that restart. I think it's still too far to go. But I do think what people are doing is, like we talked about, I think they're just trying to save every drop of fuel to put the bare minimum amount of fuel that they need to make it to the end. Whether or not that includes a green light checker, I'm not sure. The other one driver I'm watching right here, I think, who has the chance to make the biggest gains if he get that 28 car, though, of Nick Wing, because if he can get to the tail end of this or the lead of this pack, I should say, that would actually put him tail end of 1 lap down, which would then give him basically kind of 2 laps in 1 shot, if you will. So if Nick can get to the front of this pack and be leading, let everybody else kind of stay behind him, and especially if they're trying to save fuel, Nick could really capitalize on this if there's the yellow. And of course, it's one of those you want a yellow, but you don't want to be the yellow. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think based on what we're seeing, though, Boomer, with nobody jumping in. Well, actually, I'm sorry, we're coming to 20 to go, so I think that window's still too soon. I don't know. I'm getting the impression, though, that I think these guys are going to probably go long. Or if the first group that jumps, I think everybody's going to try to jump with them.
Yeah, 1:21 to go, and know that everyone can pretty safely, even our leaders at full throttle, can go 22 laps. So I think that window is open now, especially with 20 laps to go. But again, it's going to be that strategy battle to see who runs long or who comes in early. Obviously, Nick Wing there is currently a couple laps down. I think he's actually 1 lap down now.
Right now he's tail end of 1. So this is, like I said, he wants somebody to make a mistake here and bring out a caution, because then he would be through all this. He would somehow be a lap on the lead lap after that, because he's the only car 1 lap down. So he would cycle all the way around the catch field, then he would cycle all the way around again to get back on lead lap. I don't know if we've had that happen for an Area 51. If we haven't though, but he would be a very, very happy camper in that 28. So
yeah, absolutely.
And then I'm spying on teams again. So we mentioned there's a lot of blind squirrels together. We see them, like I said, you saw them 3rd, 4th, right there, 6th, I believe, as well. And then I want to say 8th or 9th for the 17. So they're all within the top 10. The boot knockers very, very broke up. Eric Laurie right now sitting in about 4th position in the 071. But then you got to go all the way back to 12th and 13th for Steve and Gabe. So they're pretty split up. Looking for Adam Kilday and the 5. They're also spread out a few cars. So right now, oh, contact.
Ooh, contact doesn't. He's messed up into the wall, it looks like. Was that
so
the 48?
far, everybody stays pointed.
That was not the 48.
Straight.
No, that was Frank Ranger Jr. sliding through the infield here.
And yeah, we have a lot of quick decisions here. It looks like, oh, that 17 car, that suspension, the right front's not even on the ground right now.
Yeah, he's definitely got some big issues, and he's trying to keep it at pace to get back to the pack, and we'll see if we can watch this one again. Apologies, we called it out as the wrong car. He was just ahead of Ryan Decker. As you see this 017 making contact, a big hit for the 27. The 5 get a little bit involved, and the 88 of Gabe Butler gets spun around. Bud Steele in the mix just a little bit slowing down, and the 85 kind of knocked off the track. So the 88 and the 85, no damage it looks like, but those two and the 5 absolutely impeded as far as speed, lost a ton of momentum. You see Gabe still trying to collect it there before he can get going. The 27, definitely a lot of damage in that incident. You see the 51, he lost a lot of momentum, no contact for him. Same with the 6, just those first 4 you see in the screen, unfortunately just kind of impeded, lost a lot of momentum, and yeah, we'll see. We'll jump back live here and see. So the 017 of Frank Ranger Jr. is going to come down pit road and I believe get his fast spray. You see that right front's not even touching the ground. Obviously that's a little bit of graphics, but could just be how much that suspension really truly is messed up here, and he is going to get in his pit box and get all that repairs and get some fresh tires and some fuel. But we stay green. Les Levy continues to lead this race here now. Followed by Brandon Briggs in the outside lane. Carl Lingle lined up behind him. And again, 28 of Nick Wayne. He is technically almost 2 laps down, but he is the last car on the 1 lap down. Again, if a yellow were to come out and he were not involved in it, he would get essentially 2 laps back. And I don't know if we've ever seen that before on Green Red Checker TV, but would be honestly incredible for him and for his race to get back up here. So he's going to try to fight as hard as he can to keep that spot. But the 81 and the 32 are trying to get to the front so that they can lead it themselves. Brandon Briggs is going to get a lap led here with the help of Seth Groover. And we've got 15 laps to go, Gael.
Yeah, and actually, unfortunately for Nick right now, he actually has competition. Well, actually, he's been passed already too. But unfortunately also Frank Ranger now is actually the first car 1 down. So, and with all that, he's also been passed, so it doesn't really go, it's not working to plan. But the other thing to mention is those drivers that pitted immediately after the contact, Adam Kilday, Gabe Butler, Steve Krosek, they basically, Gabe and Adam went an extra lap, but then Steve came in immediately. But now those 3 are hooked up together. And so I'm going to keep an eye on their lap times, because those are also, again, 3 very talented drivers, and you know they're going to be pushing probably a little aggressively, maybe a little bit angrily. to try to see if they can kind of maximize some of what they've lost. So
Yeah.
I think we're waiting for them to still get a official first kind of up to speed lap. So I'm going to keep an eye. As I think right now they're coming out of two.
Yep.
Because last time by Boomers a 47.35, leaders 46.98, so about 3/4 slower. But again, I mean, there's only 3 cars. There's only
Yeah.
so much they can gain at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that before. Like 3 cars is definitely enough, especially when you have as experienced of drafters as we do here. I mean, Gabe is probably one of the best pushers for sure. I mean, obviously Adam is very experienced and has found his way to the front many times here in this league. So we'll see as they cross the stripe. That time by, it is a 46.70, so 0.3 of a second faster than Brandon Brick's 46.98. So these guys have an opportunity here. The 88 getting hot, and he's going to let the 27 in to try and push the 85, and they're going to do everything that they can to catch back up. Obviously, they lost a lot of momentum there as that caution unfolded, or well, sorry, that issue, really no yellow, the contact unfolded in front of them. They slowed down quite a bit. So they're going to have a lot of that momentum they're going to have to gain back just through sheer grit and determination. But at the front of this field, we've got Brandon Briggs. Still. Nick Wing is fought back, still on the inside lane, and is flirting with being that, I guess now the second car 1 lap down. We'll have to wait and see if or where Frank Ranger Jr. actually comes back out and see. I'll actually pop to him now, and he's by himself. So at some point we'll probably pick up someone in the draft, and I don't know if I really don't see anybody behind him. So it could be the next pack behind him could actually be our leaders. But we'll see. So
Yeah,
Frank Ranger
it is.
Jr. is coming off into the tri-oval, and then our leaders are entering turn 3 there. So I believe they will be the next ones that Frank sees. So the 28 is going to be fighting really hard. Obviously, he's going to have the advantage of being in the draft, but as of right now, Frank is hoping for a yellow to happen before this lead pack catches back up to him. But someone who's not hoping for a yellow is Brandon Briggs, as he is going to grab the lead and the bottom, as the 32 and the 5 are going to start to make their way around the outside still, seeing if they can get up to the front of this pack. The 32 being pushed by Rick Sanchez, that 32 Supra on the outside lane. See if they get a good run down the back stretch. And they've got a little bit of help there from the 48 of Ryan Decker sitting in 5th there in the outside lane, but a little bit of disconnection. We've kind of got a 2-car breakaway here, a little bit on the inside and the outside lanes as everyone's
And the other thing that's interesting to note is, first off, the lap times are still going the right way for Adam, Steve, and Gabe. They're about a half a second quicker last time, 46.90 to 47.40s up front. And I think that might be why these two groups are starting to push a little harder, but even then, still 47.30s, it looks like. But I'm a little surprised that these guys haven't pitted yet either, because A, the time is going the wrong way, but then also B, if there's a yellow, they don't have to pit if I'm those 3 that already hit pit road. So I'm kind of thinking that if a yellow comes out, it might be in the best interest of Adam, Steve, and Gabe to say, you know what, stay out. We're going to net the lead. Yeah, we'll be tight on fuel, but maybe it's worth the gamble. So
yeah,
a little intrigued by this.
I started kind of thinking, well, I mean, obviously they pitted on lap 58 and 57, so they've got plenty of fuel to make it to the end. I mean, the window was plenty open by then, so yeah, we definitely are gonna have to wait and see. I mean, just gonna have to see where any action falls, or if they can catch up. But as of right now, it's Brandon Briggs, Rick Sanchez, Seth Groover, apparently the little spoon of Ryan Decker and Les Levy in your top 5 at the moment.
I think that might have to be his official nickname now. It might need to be. It might need to be Ryan Little Spoon Decker.
Yep. See, if Caitlin is shorter than him, though, then she gets to be his jetpack or his backpack, and yeah. So, Ryan Little Spoon Decker. They're trying to make the outside lane work. As a couple cars are coming in, the 28 and the 81 working together. Just 2. Yep.
I mean, that'll help them get on pit road a little quicker, although they still find a way to almost get each other. But yeah, so they're coming together. And what I think this is going to do now, though, is I'm looking at the 2 leading this pack, and even that 3rd car. these are very good pushers. So I think we're going to see the speeds pick up from that 5, the 32, the 48. I think that pace is going to ramp up a little bit. But again, though, is it too little too late? Because with all that going on, Rick's last lap was a 48-second lap to a 46.90, full second quicker for Adam, Gabe, and Steve. So that bad luck situation for them may have actually turned into a perfect scenario for them and the other guys. I'm assuming they're looking at the numbers, but I don't know. That's gonna be, once these guys pit, I hope it's like this too, because this is gonna be really fun to see how much gap there is between these guys.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if Adam, Steve, and Gabe can pick up. I mean, they're half a second faster than Rick Sanchez and Seth Groover, even that last time by, even after Seth and Rick started to break away from the pack here. So, I mean, the advantage is to Adam, Steve, and Gabe at the moment. They are, let's see, looking at the ticker.
Well, here's a good test, actually. They just exited, or I should say Brandon and 20, they both just pitted. And Gabe and Cummings, they are ahead.
Yeah, by about a second.
Don't know
in gaining, so yeah, no, I don't think so. He's about 1.2 seconds back, and it is
no help.
Yeah, Brandon just doesn't have enough. I mean, it's stagnant there at 1.2, but easy. I want to be at least a second away before I feel comfortable that I can get that draft. And he's slowly starting to bleed. That time growing larger. So unfortunately, I don't think he's going to catch that draft there. But of the drivers that have made their final pit stops, starting with Adam Kildee, Steve Krosick, and Gabe Butler, and now obviously Brandon Briggs has made his final pit stop. Dean Wilkinson came in as well, and
Rick and Seth are pitting this time.
Okay.
And Les Levy as well. What I'm confused about though is Ryan Decker. He's fallen back about 3 seconds off of these guys. Like I don't know if that car was hurt or not, but he couldn't hold up to these guys, and he's gonna stay out, surprisingly.
Ooh, we got Seth Groover, a little bit of a moment there, but looks like he is collected it. So the the donut or the mark on the side of the 32 on the right side, that was from the first green flag pit cycle, but he gets in. It looks like okay, and we'll see if he has any penalties. Eric Laurie and the 30 of Carl Engel are going to come into their stops. As
everybody's good.
Sanchez, yep, green and away. And 32 is going to follow him. So Ryan Decker on an island here, unfortunately, shuffled out. Nobody else wanted to pit with him. Looked like he was trying to save some fuel. And I'm actually almost curious to pull...
Maybe that's why he was backing it down?
Yeah, I'm curious if I can find it here fast enough. I wanted to see if I can pull up the dashboard. Here we go. I found it here. So he's actually 100... He's saving fuel. He's only going about 166 right now, which is a little slower than what you can do on your own. So he was actually, you saw out of the gas a little bit there. He's back up to speed a little bit more now. He's got the 28, the lap car, but I think he's just going to sit here and ride and try to save enough fuel to get to the end. It's going to be really tight. He's going to have to go 26 laps from the pit stop, but obviously there's a couple yellow flag laps in between there, so... Oh, man, that is going to be a gamble. You see how much he's lifting with that blue bar. When the blue bar is full, that semicircle on top of the miles per hour, that is throttle trace. And when it's anything but, a full 180 degrees, you see how he's lifting there just a little bit as we're getting into turns 3 and 4. So he's definitely trying to save fuel. This is a bold strategy, and we'll have to wait and see if it pays off for him.
Yeah, this is intriguing, and... I'd say he's picked up, I think, a teammate there in that 28 as well of Nick Wing. But still, he is yet to make his final stop as well. He had the same situation as Ryan for when they last pit at 49. So then it's all about basically the gap he has. So, I mean, he's got 18 seconds or so. And then that's the other thing, too, is you can look now. The leaders did not ditch Rick and Seth Groover, but everybody else is out of the draft.
Contact there, the 27. Sorry to cut you off there, Steve Krosick there. Yeah, we saw them. They just passed the 6 of Bud Steele, but Steve Krosick makes the move to the bottom. A little bit of contact with the 85. He is going to take over the lead of this second package. Now the 85 has his teammate in the 5 and the 32 catching up. We're going to keep an eye on Ryan Decker and see if he can make the distance, but the 85 more contact with the 27. So they are not happy with each other. You saw the 27. He rooted the 85 off the bottom in turn number 1. A little more contact traded back between him and the 85 and the 27, and showing a little bit of displeasure there potentially from that move, but the teammates are lined up on the inside lane and the outside lane. The third car, the additional, really the fifth wheel here, is going to be the 32 of Seth Groover. No allegiance to either of these groups here for him. He's just trying to win this race, but a 5-pack of really good racers here with 2 laps to go. We're going to keep our eye on Ryan Decker now. He is actually leading ahead of the 28, and I wonder if that's a play. If he runs out of fuel, the 28's just going to push him. But we're going to have to wait and see. Right now it's Rick Sanchez, 32. Oh, someone got shuffled. Bud Steele got shuffled on the line here. Someone else did too. 85, Adam Kilday actually got shuffled out of line, and he is further on back as there's only a 4-pack here now. But white flag for the 48. He's pretty much out of fuel, it looks like here, or really close to it. But
he's out. He's out. He's on the apron.
Out on the apron here, and he's going to have to coast the rest of the way, unfortunately. I don't think he's going to have enough here. It is the white flag, but the 27 has a head of steam. And I think, coming down the backstretch. So, yep, they're going to pass Ryan Decker. Ryan Decker's going to run out in turn 22, so it's going to be the battle here. The 27 of Steve Krosick in the inside lane, and the 88 of Gabe Butler. The 5 makes contact with the 27, and they are trying to battle down the backstretch here. The 32 in the high lane with the 5. The 27 and the 88 teammates lined up nose to tail in the bottom lane. They have the advantage. The 27 is going to go up and throw the block ahead of the 5, and he is going to come across the line first as they're going to wreck behind him. Steve Krosick wins the first race of the season.
Yeah, Steve's going to get the win over Rick Sanchez, and then Seth Groover. Seth saw all the fighting going on. He said, "Let me go hop to the middle," and then unfortunately kind of got a little pinballed there between Gabe and the 5. And but the heartbreaker for me is Adam Kilday. He was in a great spot, and then unfortunately just that. Well, 2 heartbreakers really. Adam in the first one, and then unfortunately for the 48, just not having the fuel there at the end to try to pull off the strategy. I love the gamble. I hate that it didn't pan out, but it was definitely a big gamble. And I think the problem was if he had more people go further with him, I think maybe there's a chance it could pay out. But unfortunately, unfortunately in this one, it just didn't quite pan out there. But love the try.
Yeah, and you could see there where the 48 got in front of the 28, his teammate there, and the 28 was trying to make it there, trying to push his teammate, but you can tell when the 48 ran on the gas, the 28 just couldn't push him hard enough there, and unfortunate for him as you see Steve Krosick doing a little bit of celebration there. I'll be kind of curious to ask there. I mean, we saw the contact between him and the 85. Obviously, the 27 got to the bottom there in turns 1 and 2, had the run with the 88 behind him, and made some contact. And, I mean, we didn't see what contact or what incident led to the 85, getting, really don't know what happened, but he obviously left that pack. When we came back, it was only the 4 of them. And he was further down the running order, and looks like Bud Steele might have been involved in that too. But whatever happened, there was definitely some beating and banging on the doors there, and might have to talk to both the 27 and the 5 and get their vantage points on that. But before we get to our interviews, we're going to do the rest of our race grid here. So we'll bring up the official or unofficial, for now at least, results here. You see So it's interesting. That actually shows.
I think Steve did a little bit too big of a burnout. That I don't think everybody. So because of how the race unfolded, there's a lot of drivers further back that hadn't finished yet. Okay. And so I think he technically gets jumped back to the last first car lap down. So it is still Steve Krosick.
We'll still show the unofficial results on the ticker here so that they make more sense. But so Steve Krosick in the 27, he is going to come home first, up 14 spots on the night. Rick Sanchez there from his starting position of 4th improves to 2nd. And Seth Groover there also up 14 spots there. A really good night for him, trying to make some moves there, but unfortunately a lot of teammates on the inside and outside lanes, and him not really much anywhere to go, but he does beat out Gabe Butler there for the final podium spot. Gabe starts on the pole and is going to come home top 5. Carl Lingle had a pretty solid run in the top 5 pretty much all night, comes home 5th there. And Eric Laurie starts 2nd. He's going to settle for 6th tonight, but still a really good first outing for him here in this second season of 2024. Brandon Briggs up 7 spots to finish solidly in the top 10. Mike Rimkus is going to start and finish 8th after being involved in the only caution that we had here tonight. So good recovery here for Mike, as we see Jeremy Osborne and Ambrose Knievel of Blind Scroll Racing also coming home in the top 10 tonight. Les Levy there in the 62 Makers Mark Chevrolet, he's going to come home 11th. When we saw Bud Steele get potentially caught up in that mix that took out the 85 of Adam Kildare, or he may have run out of fuel on his own, but I don't believe that's the case. So
no, he fell out. I went and looked, and he
okay.
has a packet loss situation, unfortunately. So
internet connection.
The internet let him down.
Okay, so unfortunate for Bud there, an internet issue, so completely different there. We saw Ryan Decker, the valiant effort with the fuel save, unfortunately was probably about a mile and a half short, but he's going to come home 13th tonight. Dean Wilkinson there, we saw had some of his own issues there, is going to come home 14th. Rank Ranger Jr., the 017, involved in that final incident that did not bring out a caution. Still not sure what happened to Adam Kildare, but I mean, having an absolutely great run there before his eventually 16th place finish. So unfortunate for him after having such a good night. And then we see Nick Wing and Jim Brooks and Patrick over there. Patrick not able to start the race with the internet connection issues, and obviously we saw the money shift from Jim Brooks and never get able to get back to that lead lap. And Nick Wing with some similar issues there, and has issues of his own there, coming home in 17th. But with that, I think we're going to be ready for some interviews. I think the first one is going to be the 32 of Seth Groover.
Yeah, so I had the wrong people pulled up because I totally blanked on the everything. So
yeah, no
we'll
worries.
work on that. But and then sorry, I mixed up. So yeah, so the 85 was the packet loss. The 6 car of Bud Steele, I think he also ran out of fuel. I think he was trying to stretch it as well.
Okay.
Like the 48 was. So so based on Caitlin's responses, I think both Bud and Ryan are gonna have to be big spoons tonight.
Yeah. Okay, so the 85, yep. And so Bud running out of fuel as well as Ryan Decker, and then 85 had a packet loss issue. Okay, thank you for setting the record straight on that, Gael. But now that we are informed there, we're going to bring up Seth for our first interview of the night. And Seth, we saw you there towards the end. Obviously, kind of keeping your nose clean for the most of the race tonight. A little bit of contact there under the green flag pit cycles, but we saw you there in that pack of 5. With teammates on the inside, teammates on the outside, and you're just kind of along for the ride and trying to make the best of what you could, and settled for a 3rd place finish here tonight. But take us through what it looked like from your eyes.
Yep, 3rd place is good. Man, I just gotta say, I am so surprised that Gabe and Steve and whoever there, I can't believe that Gabe and Steve got back into that race. Like me and Richard, I thought it was just going to be me and him, and I was going to push him to the win. And all of a sudden, Steve and Gabe pulled in front of us out of the pit stops. I was flabbergasted, and it just caught me off. Congrats to them for pulling that off. And I don't know what happened on the with I think it was Frank. I don't know if he came up on me or not, but it was a big checkup, and I got on the back of him and caused kind of a big melee on that last sequence. But overall, good race, and I wish Patrick's internet would calm itself down, because I'm tired of him dropping out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too, Boomer. Yeah, and that's the thing, is it wasn't even just Patrick tonight. Obviously, we saw him early, but then also the 85 there at the very end, he fell out connection wise.
Oh, yes, he did. Yep.
So, have you guys? No, say. Well, I'll talk. I won't do IT stuff over the broadcast. That's just kind of boring. But that said, though, you're gonna have to give a hard time to Mom, because I think this might be the first race I haven't seen her in the YouTube chat. So. Or I say usually she's checking on you guys, and she's been here and you guys weren't here, so I think this might be the first one Mom's missed. So you might have to give her a little bit of grief for me.
It was well, honestly, I sent her the link to it, so I don't know. She worked all day, so she's probably sleeping. But
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair then. I'll let her.
yeah,
I'll let her have that
Yeah, I
then.
think
but
with how loyal Mama Groover is, I think we can let one race slide. But
We'll let it slide.
yeah, but yeah, it was a good race. Congrats to Steve on the win. I know he did some burnouts at the end. Hopefully, we don't take that away from him. But yeah, good one on Steve. Good job, Richard. Been racing with Richard a lot, and yeah, overall good race. It was fun. Good Thursday night.
Yeah, were you kind of expecting? I mean, it seemed like it was. Obviously, we got a couple green flag pit cycles in there, and really one yellow. Some chaos that I know you were kind of involved in there towards the end too. But I mean, it seemed like it was pretty clean, mostly green flag action for most of the race. Were you kind of expecting that tonight with the 19 car field, or were you thinking that there would be a little bit more chaos throughout?
No, I know you always got Area 51. You always got to expect a green flag, yellow free race, and that's what's great about this league. And you kind of have to. It kind of keeps you on your toes. You gotta get your pit stops right because you almost know for certain that there won't be a caution. So you gotta, if you lose a draft, you're kind of screwed. And I guess there was a couple cautions, but yeah, it was a clean race, and I tried to stay with the main group today, and Richard helped us out a couple times there, and yeah, overall good race. Can't complain with third place.
Yeah, not bad at all. Want to roll out that red carpet now for anyone you want to say thanks or shout out to here for that third place
Yeah,
finish tonight.
if my mom is out there, my mom and dad are out there watching, say hi to them. I'm sure Patrick's probably sleeping too. He had a long day at work too, but yeah, we'll go back and I love watching these races and just listening to you guys broadcast. So that's what I'll probably do tonight.
Awesome. Well, congrats, Seth, and hopefully we'll be interviewing both you and Patrick up here soon enough. And always appreciate watching you guys and that brotherly connection get through the field here at Area 51.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Alrighty, so with Seth, we have car ahead of him on screen there. That is Rick Sanchez. Love the logo changed for you, Rick, in the U.S. Air Force
He's
number
embraced
5
it.
machine. But yeah, I love the the Rick.
I think his helmet's got it too, if I remember right.
Yeah, that is hilarious. I didn't even think about it. That the last name fits too, doesn't it? That's awesome.
Yeah.
He needs to get royalties for it.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
had to mute you guys.
Yeah, no worries. All right, so yeah, I love that profile picture there for you.
It took me a little bit to figure that one out, but I got it done.
I can't. Yeah, I mean, for how much I've watched that show, I hadn't even ever put that connection together. But anyway, Rick Sanchez of Rick and Morty, second place finish here for you tonight in the U.S. Air Force number 5 Camaro. Looked like a fun one. A little bit of chaos that didn't throw some cautions with some green flag pit cycles, and you kind of stayed towards the front for pretty much all of it. So take us through there how you got to that second place finish tonight, Rick.
I don't know. It was kind of uneventful. It seemed just riding along, and then the next thing you know, I was kind of surprised where Gabe and them ended up because they fell off, right? They got in a little bump there and lost a pack, I think, and they had to pit early, but they ran hard enough to catch back up to us. So. And we were trying to save as much gas as we could, but in the end, we all had to stop and take a gallon of gas there at the end. So it was a good race, and then all of a sudden, 3 or 4 laps to go, it was bumping and grinding to the end. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, so you were saying uneventful race, and I'm gonna say uneventful-ish. Those last couple laps, once unfortunately we saw Adam have his connectivity issue and disappear.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
That I was saying you guys were working really well together. Obviously, that was going to be good, but then it was all about, I mean, you and Steve, I mean, you guys were fighting hard for position. I don't know if I've seen that
Yeah.
much door-to-door action at the end of a race like that in quite some time.
Yeah, it's pretty fun when you got somebody that can do it back, and netcode don't get us doing it. Sometimes you can do that, and netcode will beat you up for it.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes the netcode giveth, and sometimes the netcode taketh. But
Well, you saw, what was it Sunday? It beat me up.
yeah, definitely one of those things that sometimes goes your way, sometimes doesn't. But yeah, it's we saw some like we said, some good green flag pit stops, and I mean, pretty much always there up at the front there, and you
Yeah,
and
I
the
was able to hang
85.
on.
Yeah, you and the 85 were working together. Definitely a bummer to see him lose internet connection there, but would have hoped to see it go all the way through with that 5 pack there. But I guess I'm kind of curious to
Yeah,
hear.
he was in a good spot too.
Yeah, I was curious to hear from your perspective there. Obviously, I mean, like we saw the 27 kind of get to the inside of the 85 with a little bit of contact, and then there was a little bit of door slamming there down the backstretch after that between the 85 and the 27. Definitely. I mean, it seemed like it was just like honestly really hard racing, but it seemed like it was for the most part all in good fun. Nothing too nothing intentionally aggressive there. It didn't seem like.
No, it was just real good, hard racing, and like I said, it worked out in our favor that it didn't wreck us, unnecessarily so, because that bumping and rubbing is fun, especially if it's going back and forth for several laps.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, surprised me. There were some moments where there was a little bit of sideways action, and it's like everything was resolved pretty quickly. But I was like, oh wow, really surprised to see. I mean, obviously you guys are, um, you know, pretty good wheelmen as far as super speedway goes, but sometimes
Yeah,
when you
but
get a bump sideways, you can't always hang on to it. So it was pretty impressive to see
yeah,
that hard action there. But unfortunately the 85 blinked out in front of you, and then kind of Seth Groover was just pushing you there to the end. But I'm sure it didn't help to not have that teammate there to take you all the way to the end and try to get something else.
yeah. I'm almost positive if Adam would have stayed there, we could have got him a win. I think we'd had that outside line with 3 cars, and coming to the line, we'd have got him. But that's a bummer that happens. But we'll get him next time.
Yeah, definitely. Well, obviously no stranger to victory lane here at Area 51, and a pretty solid points night coming home in second there for you, Rick Sanchez. Back with a vengeance, obviously just barely missing out on the championship last season with the way the bonus points fell in the final race there. But do you have a bit of a renewed outlook here with the new season here and another opportunity to try and win another championship?
Yeah, I was ready the week after the end of the championship to get back at it. It's I love doing this. It's a blast, and it's real fun over here in Area 51 because a lot of clean racers, and that's where we end up with several green flag stops, for pits, and that's great.
Yeah, definitely. Well, a lot of fun to see you out there, and good to see you back trying to capitalize on what was a really good season for the first season of 2024. But we'll roll out that red carpet there, give you opportunities to shout anyone out or give thanks to anybody there.
Shout out to the family. Shout out to Mom. She's out there. Shout out to Area 51. Always have good races on this league. Shout out to Green White Checkered, always putting on a good broadcast for everybody. Shout out to 40 Raceware for helping us out here. Whiplash Sim Crams, shout out to them, and shout out to all the other drivers out there.
Good deal, Rick. Well, thanks again, and I won't be surprised if we'll be talking to you again pretty soon here.
Appreciate it, guys. You have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Alrighty. We've got one more interview here, and that is the driver of the number 27, back again in Area 51 competition, and working with the Team Bootnaki Esports guys. We saw a really great move for you to get underneath the 85 there, a little bit of contact, but able to get side by side. And unfortunately, with the internet connection issues of that 85, we see you hold on and grab that first win of the second season here in 2024, Steve. But enough of me talking. I want to hear what it looked like from your vantage point behind the driver's seat.
Yeah, but how about that, man? I thought it was all over. About what was that, 15 to go when that accident happened and the caution didn't come out.
Yeah, about so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
just saying I was saying, Steve, I was saying, before you even get to it, I mean, well, actually, no, I want you to talk through it because then I have some
Yeah,
some
follow-up
thoughts on
questions.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't really see what was going on. We saw that someone was on the apron. They was checking up in front of us, so we just went high naturally to avoid it. And I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he clobbered me into the wall. My car was instantly junked, and I thought it was over. But luckily for me, it was in turn 4, and I was able to go straight to the pit. And then Gabe hit the next lap, and he picked me up. And me, him, and Kilday got hooked up. I was pushing like my life depended on it, and we were able to stick to keep pace, and the rest of the guys couldn't make it, and we just got ourselves in position there, and it just worked out. I really thought that the Decker was going to win. I'm surprised he didn't make it. It was handed to me, and as soon as we realized he wasn't going to make it, we realized we were battling for the win there, and Gabe was hot about to blow, and they're coming for a run out of turn 4 there, and I just timed it right, went up and blocked it, and that's all she wrote. We got really lucky how it all worked out. I really thought my race was over, man.
Yeah, and I mean, and that was I had two concerns. Was first, I was like, I saw you hit the period. I was like, okay, I love the strategy there because minimize time loss, get in, get out. But then when I saw Gabe and then Adam stay out the extra lap before they came in, I was like, okay, we'll see how it turns out. But I think again, same thing. I think you getting in there that quick kind of helped offset any difference you had rolling solo. And then yeah, you guys were just killing the lap times. The leaders were kind of, like I said, they were kind of bouncing between saving or battling within themselves. And Boom and I were watching the lap times, like, man, they're quicker. And it's not like by a tenth or two. Like there's times you were half a second quicker, a full second quicker. And I told Boomers, like, if this keeps up, I mean, you guys might sneak away with this one, even without having any competition, just the three of you. And then we saw then obviously the 32 and the 5 got up to you guys, but then that was it. Everybody else was, I think, 4+ seconds back, and then you guys brawled out to the end there, which is a lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Sometimes bad luck turns into a good luck situation, and like I said, you guys made the just a great best of the bad opportunity or bad situation, I should say. And yeah, I was really impressed with how quick you guys kind of, okay, this happened, let's do this, and then you guys were just back to business, pushing, like I said, and then it wasn't obviously easy. You guys were pushing like there was no tomorrow. I'm sure risking engines, and we did have one engine blow up from overheating. How hard was that for you tonight to try to keep that engine in check when you were pushing?
Oh, when I was pushing, I was right on the edge of blowing up every second of it, man. I was in the red. I'd have to dip out, get pull down to get back into the yellow, and right back to red. I honestly didn't think I was gonna make it, and I haven't been on in a while. I've been away from iRacing since March, and this is like one of my first races back, and I'm in here solo, and I'm lucky that Gabe and Eric were working with me tonight. You know, at, our team was Dale Cup, but everybody kind of split up and went their own way. So I'm just a solo driver, but luckily I had some friends to work with tonight, and it all worked out.
So at what point did you realize that you were actually gonna not only catch back up to the pack, but be in a position to be leading it as well?
Well, I guess I realized after everyone but Harold Pitt that there was a shot, and I really wasn't sure on Harold's situation if he was going to make it or not. And then once I saw that we were catching him fast on the last lap, I knew he was out of gas, and it was just between me and Gabe and Sanchez, and it was a 2v2 there, and Gabe did a hell of a job. I know he was close to blowing up, and he got me right there to have enough clearance to go up and make the move to make the block there out of 4. So I mean, he nailed it. I gotta give a shout out to him. We couldn't have done it without him. And yeah, it's just nuts. I really thought it was all over. It's just funny how it works out.
Yeah. Yeah, especially after this being your first race back, it's one of those things where something crazy like that happens and you just kind of maybe write it off. But I mean, you guys didn't. You didn't write it off. You kept in it and kept your foot in it, nearly blowing up in the process. And that determination seems like that's what got you the win tonight.
Yeah, man, I'll take them however I can get them. Sometimes it's good to be lucky.
Yeah, they don't ask how, they ask how many, right? Yeah. Well, good deal. Well, obviously, we've gone through some of that already, but want to roll that red carpet out there for anyone else you'd like to say thanks to or give a shout out to for this win, the first of the 2024 Season 2 series here.
Yeah, just give a big shout out to Area 51 and you guys for the broadcast, and give a shout out to Team Bootnaka for picking me up tonight. It was nice to have some people to run with. So just shout out to them, and look forward to the next week.
Awesome. Will we get to see you all season long, you think, here, Steve?
I think I'm gonna try and do the full season, so we'll see.
Yeah, definitely starting out on a pretty solid points note here with the win tonight. So hope to see you stick around for the season, and congratulations for that first win here.
Hey, thanks guys, I appreciate it. I'll catch you next time.
Yep, take care.
Have a good night.
So that was, I would say, a pretty solid first race of the season there, Guy Elf, for a little bit of chaos, but some green flag action. I mean, it was a good mix. A couple cautions that, or at least incidents, I should call them, because they didn't bring out a caution. And then the one yellow there, kind of at the almost just past the midway point there after the second green flag pit cycle. Had a little bit of everything here tonight.
Yeah, it was eventful for sure. I say there was obviously some things that other drivers be like, man, if not for this, then I could have had XYZ results. But no, as a whole, I mean, it was good racing. We saw some really aggressive, hard racing at times. Some strategy came into the mix, and obviously, like I said, pit stops having to get in and out of pit road, and then yeah, just adjustments on the fly. These drivers had to make some pretty quick changes. So, yeah, everybody did a really good job. And again, just the how quick the changes were being made by those top three there at the end, the 85, the 88, and the 27. I mean, again, that I think that quick decision and said, nope, we bite the bullet. We come in now. We know we can make it. And probably, I think, again, we talked about making the field just to the scheduled distance. I'm thinking that may have been what they did too. And that made the difference to be able to be up front. Well, give them the opportunity to have a chance to be up front, followed, of course, by their really, really talented drafting abilities there that they did. So, yeah, a little bit of everything tonight. We had some fuel gamblers. Unfortunately, it didn't quite pay out, but again, I love it. I mean, that's if I'm in that situation, I'd probably try the same thing, truth be told. So I always love to see people going for the gamble, try to get that big win.
Yeah, I don't blame the 6 or the 48 for trying it. Obviously, I mean it was, man, it was really tough. We didn't see anybody go more than 23 laps under green flag conditions, so we knew it was going to be difficult, and unfortunately did not save enough early enough. But I mean, to come onto the backstretch, really, I mean, I guess kind of about turn 2 was really when I know Ryan Decker was starting to run out of fuel because we were watching from the lead there. But I mean, I obviously less than a lap short. It's really tough to do, and I definitely commend them, because obviously, if that works out, if you can save another 1.5, maybe 2 miles, less than that, you're the hero, right? And unfortunately, it didn't work out. I mean, I don't, I definitely don't blame him for trying it, and you never know. I mean, it was pretty much pure grit and determination that Steve Carosa got that win there tonight, and the fact that him and Gabe Butler and company were able to get back up through the field. I mean, that was just them again, sheer grit, determination, getting back up there. So very impressive to see that, and yeah, it's I think it was a good race, a good way, a great way really to start off this second season in 2024, and we have lots of more weeks hopefully of this action left. So yeah, well, obviously we already ran down the final results, so we'll probably just do a quick schedule plug for you here. But yeah, before we do the schedule plug here, Guile, any closing thoughts for tonight's action here at Daytona?
No, I had a blast. It was fun to be able to hop up here and do this with you. It's been a while since we've got to broadcast together. So I won't lie, a little bummed that our house car wasn't on
Yeah,
track tonight, but we'll get it squared away. So we'll see. Like I said, we'll see what next week is. So I'm actually going to spy ahead on the schedule. It'll be
yeah,
actually
I was pulling
Talladega
it up.
next
Yep.
week. So I think that's going to be a paper rock scissors to see who wins to run that one. So I have a feeling that one's circled for all three of us. But no, yeah, I'd say like I said, between you, Matt, and I, it's just gonna be a lot of fun. And like I said, I think we'll have a good chance to vie for some interviews ourselves. So I'm looking forward to giving that one a go as well here.
Yeah, so we'll see. So obviously we teased that. We haven't really talked about that too much, but we'll bring that up in just a moment. But we've got an off week here for the Sunday series. The trucks, obviously, the Memorial Day weekend. A lot of people are going to be traveling. And obviously lots of celebrations involving all our fallen heroes for Memorial Day weekend. So we will be remembering them this weekend, all weekend long. Obviously, as you should every day, pretty much every day of the year for those freedoms they give us. But we'll be off for the Sunday series, and I think Tuesday is off as well. They'll be back. Actually, they've got 2 weeks off, so they'll be back on June 11th on Tuesdays. The Area 51 Dark Horse Tuesday IR18 IndyCar Series. Just 1 week off for the Sunday Super Trucks, and they'll be back in Talladega on June 2nd. And then, as you mentioned there, Gael, for us, for the schedule on Thursday nights, we will be back at Talladega next week, May 30th. And then we'll be doing Atlanta on the 6th of June and iRacing Super Speedway on June 13th. We're not going to quite do the Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta iRacing rinse repeat. We're going to go to we're only going to go to Atlanta and iRacing Super Speedway Atlanta 3 times, iRacing Super Speedway twice, in a mix. Most of the tracks are going to be either Daytona or Talladega. So, but yeah, so that special third car that you kind of mentioned, or between the three of us there. So, obviously, unfortunate. Matt Wagner was scheduled to be in the car tonight and had some issues, couldn't make it there. But plan will be for us to have a car from the broadcast team running every single week of the season. And yeah, so the obviously it'll be numbered a little bit differently for each of us, but it'll be the same paint scheme for Green White Checker TV, and we'll have an in-race reporter, and we'll have to see that rock paper scissors, maybe 3 ways between you, me, and our friend Matt Wagner there. The 3 of us will have to figure out who wants to run Talladega. But so yeah, gonna be trying to do a little bit of trophy hunting, but more importantly, obviously having fun, adding another car to the field, and also getting an opportunity to give some in-race insight and have some fun. So I'm very much looking forward to being in the car a few times this season. I'm sure you are as well. Obviously, you're very active in this league in the past. I mean, you've got quite a few starts here on Thursday nights. So excited to see you back in the car as well a little bit more this season, Gael. And yeah, it's been a blast to call this race with you here tonight. So a few more this season, and didn't have a chance to get it tonight, but we'll definitely be making sure we have opportunity to have a car in the field on next week, and should be a blast. But yeah, I think for the most part, I think I've done enough talking for myself, Boomer Logan, and for my great friend Gael Brooks. We'll sign off here from Green White Checker TV. Have a great week. Stay safe. And have a great Memorial Day weekend. And remember all of those people who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms. And we definitely thank them here at Green White Checker TV and Area 51. Take care, everyone.